that the Torah commands us to remind ourselves every day about what happened to Miriam. Zechor et asher asa lecha Hashem Elokecha, asher asa Hashem Elokecha leMiriam bederech betzetchem miMisraim. The Torah commands us to remember what happened to Miriam. What happened to Miriam? She was traveling in the desert with Am Yisrael, and she got pissed. She got tzaraat, and therefore Bnei Israel, the whole nation, had to wait 7 more days till they could travel until she got cleansed. And who did she speak Lashon Hara about? Her brother. And what did she have in mind to say? She spoke to Aaron about Moshe, and she wanted to go and say, why is Moshe separating himself from his wife, Tzipporah? Does he think he is greater than the other Nevi'im? The other Nevi'im were with their wives. Why can't he be with his wife? So therefore, the Miriam meant for the sake of Shalom Bayit. For the sake of Shalom Bayit, she wanted to get involved. But what? Hashem felt that it was not appropriate even in such a case. So therefore we have to remember this on a daily basis, even with positive reasons, and even for the sake of our family. It's still asur to speak Lashon Hara. Do not use this tool to think, the ends justify the means. It's okay, at the end of the day I have a positive goal. Still, even in such a case, a person has to make sure not to speak Lashon Hara. And a person has to make sure not to think it's okay for your family to speak about your family. Now we know that the more people you speak about, the more sins you get. It multiplies. But multiple people is even worse. For example, a person says, people from that country are all selfish. You spoke about a whole country. You about every single person. And then, or you say, Hasidim are always like this. Sephardim are all like that. Ashkenazim are all like this. So a person has to know, you just spoke about thousands of people, and you get a Lashon Hara sin for every single person. It's like a huge multiplier. It's like unbelievable how big of a sin that is. So therefore, a person has to be very careful not to speak about groups, and definitely not to speak about a person. And many times, you divide Am Yisrael. You divide Am Yisrael like that when you go and make me versus you by speaking bad about each other. Chas v'shalom. I'm going to end off with a story, a very wonderful story, maybe actually two. That there was a story of people used to do laundry back in the day. There wasn't no laundry machines. They used to hang. You have to wash it. You have to back-breaking work to wash it by hand, and then hang it to dry. Right, the water had to be boiled. The stain had to be rubbed by hand. Everything had to be hung up to dry. It took 5 hours to do laundry. So there was a lady. Her name was Aidel. Aidel went to go and did the whole day the laundry, and then finally she hung it up. Her neighbor Rachel came home from a long day in work, and she felt something wet on her face. When she was walking home, she hit her face on the hanging laundry. She said, what is this? She's blocking my way to my house. I'm going to teach her a lesson. She took a pair of scissors and cut the whole clothing line. Everything fell in the mud and the dirt in the street. Ended up being that all the laundry she did was whole day was wasted. So what happened? Her first impulse was, when she saw this idea, was to go get mad and to yell at her and to speak about Lashon Hara, about her neighbor Rachel. But what she do? She said, what is it going to help? Is it going to make anything better? It is what it is. I have to wash it anyway. So I should make more fire. I should make the fire bigger. So she held herself and she kept quiet, and she said, you know what? I'm not going to tell anybody about it. And then around midnight, there was knocking at her door. Aidel's husband, Yosef, answered the door, and what happened? There was Rachel standing there. And she was in a panic. She says, my son came down with a high fever. I think it's a punishment for what I did to your wife. I must ask for Mechila. Is the Rebbe's in there? And she came and she asked for, and Yosef said, what? I don't know. She didn't tell me anything about it. I don't know what you're talking about. Adele, you want to come? Somebody's at the door for you. Because b'zchut that she took upon herself not to speak Lashon Hara about this to anybody, she ended up giving birth to who? She gave birth to the big tzaddik, Rav Yashav, alav shalom. So it ended up being they didn't have kids for many years. B'zchut that she had not to speak Lashon Hara, Hashem blessed her with such a son that the whole world was asking for his word, for his psak in every single matter. So therefore a person has to know according to the punishment is also leumat zeh, corresponding to it is a huge reward for the person who holds himself. Everybody who is looking for a big salvation. Next time something comes to you like this, and you say to yourself, you know what? B'zchut this, Hashem, give me the zechut. B'zchut I hold myself on Lashon Hara. Hopefully we'll get this Yeshua, Parnasah, Bracha, Tzlacha, whatever it is, Zivug. And the person should know this is one of the best Segula the person can grab. And we almost known that the Chafetz Chaim would travel from city to city, and he would sell his Sfarim. He came to a city one time where he didn't know the way around, so he hired somebody, a Bachur, to help guide him around the city. He didn't know how to go. So then he said to the Bachur, don't worry, I'll pay you afterwards for your service. So they got to one of the houses, and the Bachur said, oh, you see this big house? Very rich guy lives here. He says, oh, amazing. He says, but you should know he's very, very stingy. No point in going to. Don't even knock on the door. As soon as the Chafetz Chaim heard this, he took out money and he paid the Bachur. He said, here, your job is done. I want to pay you and thank you for your help. And the Bachur was so confused. He said, what happened? We didn't finish. We have a lot to go. He said, the Chafetz Chaim did that. Why? He explained because to himself, he didn't say it to him. He explained to himself that even though he was losing money, and the Bachur promised to do teshuvah, he didn't change his mind. He says, I don't hang out with such people. I'm sorry. You speak Lashon Hara like it's nothing. I can't stay around people like this. So therefore, a person has to know, how am I going to save myself when speaking Lashon Hara? If you have a friend, if you have a person who you know always speaks Lashon Hara, avoid it. Avoid it. Why do you have to sit and, okay, you can speak to him, say hello, be respectful to him, help him when he needs help. But to sit and spend time with them, and then Chaz Hashem, they're going to teach you, and they're going to make you easy to fall into a trap of Lashon Hara. Be like the Chafetz Chaim, even if you pay them, even if you help them. But don't sit with them, because it's going to bring you down. A person shouldn't put himself in a test, and we should not have further contact with such people. Rather, we should help them, we should give them musar, we should love them. But then the day, shomer nafsho, a person is a guard himself, should distance. Baruch Adonai Olam.